Father John Cladar coming at you with another reflection. And as I thought about the last couple of reflections I've done, a couple days ago, I talked about the importance of confession, which is very important. And last Friday, I can't remember exactly what I talked about, but the line that sticks out in my mind is when I said the only thing we really merit as human beings is our sinfulness. That any sort of talent or gift in our life, the virtue, any sort of virtues that we live out, it's because of the grace of God. Both of those things are true, but maybe the heaviness of quarantine and just the world we find ourselves living is bringing me down a little bit. So I'm trying to bring a little bit of levity, a little bit of hope, while also maintaining our place in this tension of self-reflection. I think that the reality of our human weakness, our fragility, we don't need to be reminded. It's there every single day. And we sit there and I go, my goodness, like how can I keep being such a wretch? Yet at the same time, we know the Lord is working there. So how do we balance those two things? We think about Paul's words from 2,000 years ago. God, I really desire to do good, but I don't. And I don't want to sin, but I do it anyway. A little paraphrasing there, but you know the line from the book of Romans. And brothers and sisters, I think that as we sit in this tension, there's two temptations that we can have. The first is for us to really not enter into the tension at all, and to just say, like, I haven't killed anybody. I'm not doing any like terrible things. I think I'm actually pretty good compared to a lot of people out there. And that indifference, it's never a good thing, brothers and sisters. It allows us to disconnect from reality of where we're at and what God is trying to have us do in our life. And the other is to be just indifferent. That God, like I've tried for years, and yet I seem to be in the same place or worse. So like, I'm just going to do whatever, and I'll worry about this later. Just push it off. Both of those are disconnected with reality. Both of those are not allowing us to truly say, God, this is where I'm at. Now, where do you want me to go? And that sort of just, again, sitting in the tension is the most important thing. One of my favorite images of thinking about the Trinity is a fountain. In just overflowing, endless, infinite fountain. How often does our Lord describe himself as water, the living water, that once we drink, we'll never be thirsty again? That beautiful image of recognizing that everywhere we go, we grasp for something that will satiate our thirst, yet in a few short moments, we're thirsty again. So realizing that God is that living water in our life, that will truly satisfy us, what we were created for. As St. Augustine says, our hearts are restless until they rest in you. That thirst that we have is only going to be fulfilled by Christ. And staying with that image, if you think you come up to this fountain, it's God, what would you do? You would dive into it, right? You would drink. You would allow yourself to finally be satiated, to have that thirst taken away, to be with that which you were created for. As you take that drink, you come back and you see yourself in the reflection of that fountain. There's a little bit of still water there. And you see yourself. You see all the mistakes that you've done, that tension that we were talking about. We recognize that it's in that reflection, that gentle mirror of God, that we really have to look at ourselves, to know that God created us as sons, as daughters of God, that we are his children, and that his desire for his goodness to be in our life, his desire to give us mercy is so much stronger than any desire we could ever have to actually sin. And it's when we start to realize that all the false lies we have about ourselves, it comes down to that identity. That in this wrestle, we need to have that overflowing confidence that our identity is as a child of God. And that's the only way we can really begin to grow, that we don't become frustrated, that we don't become indifferent, but we just rest in the fact that we're his child and he wants to continue to journey with us, to have that patience, to recognize that we talk about patience with others, but to have patience with ourselves and patience with God. This understanding that in the world we live in, where we can order something on Amazon and I can sometimes even get it tomorrow, that, brothers and sisters, that's not how God works. And the way he wants us to grow in our moral life, he may permit us to continue to have those failings so that we can work on humility. We can get rid of the inappropriate type of pride in our life and to truly, openly just cling to Christ and to sit there in the tension and to say, God, I've got a lot of faults to work on, but your mercy in my life is what brings me hope, that I am a child of God, and in that I can be a saint. Brothers and sisters, my name is Father John Cladar. All of us priests are praying for you, and as always, please pray for me. God bless you.